Believe it or not, the college football season is here. Less than a week from today, we're going to know if BC is 1-0 or 0-1. A big game right out of the chute. Jon Meterparel will be calling the action for the BC Eagles football team throughout the year. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you, Tom. It's that time of year again.
It's crazy to think, isn't it? I saw a wild game last night. Miami and Florida, they both look pretty sloppy. So let's hope we don't see some of that next Saturday.
No 14 penalties, please.
Oh, my God, just so brutal down the stretch. This is a huge game out of the chute. And let's talk specifically about the importance of playing a team like Virginia Tech Week 1 at home and what that might mean, not only as a tone setter, but down the road this year.
Yeah, it really is very important. Nothing like starting with the Thunder in the ACC. Although Virginia Tech has been down lately, I think you're looking at a team that can be explosive, a team that's a little shaky on defense, which is uncharacteristic of a Bud Foster team. And that's another factor. It's his last year as defensive coordinator. He's been there for, I think, as long as we've been alive. So that's a situation there where BC is probably going to have a little bit of emotions going for Virginia Tech. You just hope BC can match it, but I think they will, because this is an opener that you like. You don't want to start with a Richmond in Week 1. Might as well start with the heavy hitter.
Yeah, I would guess that it probably ups the intensity of the practices from day one. I mean, these guys take the field knowing that right out of the chute they have a game that's going to bear significant meaning in the standings. So let's talk specifically about the guys we know coming back. We'll talk about the guys they lost in a minute, but with Anthony Brown and A.J. Dillon leading the charge offensively, how good can this BC offense be?
I think they can be really good. Last year they averaged over 30 points per game. I think they can match that, if not surpass that this year. It all lies on Anthony Brown. You hate to put too much pressure on a college player, but let's face it, it is a quarterback game. See Trevor Lawrence and all the way down the list. If you have that gunslinger, you got to win a lot of games. So Anthony Brown must improve his completion percentage. He must be more consistent. Steve Adazio has said that. If he gives you a B+, A- game, you got a great chance to win. They have to avoid the C+, B- games.
But AJ comes back, suffered through the ankle injury, which was really devastating for BC last year. He has to stay healthy. Yes, there is some running back depth, but when AJ Dillon is rocking and rolling, he's among the top 5, if not the top 3 running backs in the country.
Yeah, I think he's the best in the country. A lot of people talk about Jonathan Taylor. They're different styles, the kid from Wisconsin. But I think A.J., if he's healthy, is the best in the country. I think he'll be a high NFL draft pick. There's no doubt about that. But you're right. They have got to manage him a little bit. They do not want to shoot the gun early on him. 35 carries a game probably this week. That's what they'll reach against Virginia Tech. But next week, maybe against Richmond, you lessen that to 20. So make sure that he's ready to go in that latter half of your schedule, which really picks up.
College football, the quarterback figures out who he's going to throw to as the season evolves. You sometimes see guys who may not be jumping off the stat sheet before the year who suddenly become your best receivers later. So I don't really want to spend too much time on that because, frankly, I'm more concerned about the defense. Because you got a defensive unit that loses some significant talent, and the big question becomes who's going to replace these guys who are now playing on NFL rosters?
And I think it starts up front. Where are you going to replace Wyatt Ray, who's in an NFL camp, and Zach Allen, who was a high draft pick from the Arizona Cardinals? Those two guys were bookends. They rushed the quarterback. This just in, you need to generate a pass rush. So BC's relying upon a lot of grad transfers this year. One, a kid named Richard Jurgen from Clemson. Great story, coming back from a severe car accident when he was at Clemson. They're hoping that he can give them a push up front. But your linebackers, I think, Tom, are really solid. You have a kid named Max Richardson who returns. John Lamont returns. Isaiah McDuffie's hurt right now. I think he's one of the best linebackers in the ACC. When he comes back, you'll be stacked there. Secondary is a little difficult. You replace Will Harris, a third-round pick of the Detroit Lions. Who's going to replace him at safety? They're relying upon Mike Palmer, who played a little bit last year. So there's maybe a dicey area. But, hey, Patriot fans, Tate Haynes, familiar name, Father Mike Haynes, one of the all-time Patriot greats. He's going to be starting at one corner spot.
All right, and is he the one who's basically taken over for Lucas Dennis?
He's actually taking over on a corner side. He's not taking over for Dennis. He's taking over for Hamp Cheevers, who left for the NFL. So Dennis is a safety.
So let's be optimistic. And they're going to be favored in games 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you get through week 1, and you hopefully get a win. This team is positioned. We can do it. The coaching staff and players can't do it. We can look ahead. This could be a 5-0 team that's suddenly making some noise nationally, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it could be very similar to last year when they snuck into the top 20, 17th against Clemson, and they played them on a Saturday night, and game day was there, and it was a tremendous atmosphere. So I think this team has that type of ability. It all starts with, as you mentioned, the defense. How quickly do they gel, and how's your quarterback playing? It's simply that. That's what it comes down to for BC. But yes, 5-0 is doable.
Good stuff. Appreciate
Great
it.
stuff.
Unbelievable. August 31st, BC, Virginia Tech. Jon Meterparel going to be on the call as we start the 2019 season. Incredible. 35 years since the Miracle in Miami. Put that in perspective.
Wow.